You see the headline. You see the thumbnail. And right about now you're thinking, BC, you better change that shit. YouTube is going to demonetize you. Well, I assure you, this video has already been instantly demonetized. And no, I'm not gonna change a thing. I will not change the headline, I will not change that thumbnail, and I will not change the fact that many F-bombs will probably be dropped in this video. Because while this platform, YouTube, has every other pro wrestling content creator running scared shitless that their videos are gonna be demonetized, running scared shitless that they're gonna lose ad revenue, I'm not one of them. I'd rather be broke with dignity than rich in shame. If I cannot make these videos 100% factual and nothing but the utmost truth while being 1,000,000+% amplified, then I don't want to be on the platform. So you're not going to get the same safe and boring thumbnails or safe and boring headlines and safe and boring content that other creators are giving you because they're too scared to be themselves. The Amplified Man is dropping it like no one else because I am not gonna let this platform defeat the Amplified Man. The unit, we stand together, we rise up, we kick that ass. Now, because this video is not only going to be instantly demonetized, but it's got the potential to be removed from the platform. It wouldn't be the first time one of my videos got removed, and this could be another spoke on the wheel, because I am a thorn in YouTube's side. They don't like me, I ain't fond of them. So, in fairness to the rest of Raw, the other 2 hours and 45 minutes-ish, that'll be in a separate video in just a few hours. Just in case YouTube wants to hit this video up hardcore and we go at it. The Raw review will be up later. This video will be just the Bobby Lashley, Lana storyline, or lack thereof, and the return of Liv Morgan. The whole wedding segment from last night. That's what this video is dedicated to. I at least want to go a good 20 minutes talking about this sole subject. The rest of Raw, check back later this afternoon, and I will have that review. Just wanted to clear that up. So where do I begin with this whole wedding story? Let's start from the top. What everybody is really discussing this morning is how bad of a segment it was. Probably the worst they've ever seen is what I'm even reading. But to be truthful with you, that's what WWE has always been. Over the top zaniness. Crazy to the point where that would never happen in real life. But we love this shit. Good, bad, or ugly, it captivates us. Well, we're all talking about it this morning, so it definitely captivated us, correct? It's like if you're driving on the highway and you saw an 18-car pileup. You're gonna be rubbernecking, right? You're gonna slow down, you're gonna be checking it out. Some people are coming to a fucking stop. Those are the idiots on the road. Just keep driving, but you can't look away. Good, bad, or ugly, you couldn't look away last night, could ya? Exactly. You tell me that's the worst thing you've ever seen, but to be honest, if social media was around over a decade ago, when we had the Edge and Lita sexcapades, you guys remember that? They literally had a bed set up in the ring. Edge and Lita were having fake fucking sex on air. If that was around today, that would be getting panned on social media. And don't try to give me BC, that's different. That was Edge and Lita. We cared more about them. I don't care if it was Michael Jackson and Nicki Minaj. We'd be panning that shit in pro wrestling. That's not where I want to hang my hat. That's not my biggest issue here. The real issue for me that everybody isn't as concerned with, they're just concerned with how bad the overall segment was. What about the fact that Liv Morgan returned that way? They had Liv Morgan come back, return in that capacity. That's my issue. The wedding segments, they're always going to be a part of pro wrestling, and they should be. To be honest with you, I'm more captivated by that segment last night than I was most of the main events on Raw and SmackDown for the entire year of 2019. That's just the truth. Whether good, bad, or ugly, it captivated us and it got us talking. BC, it's in a negative way, man. It's not in a good way, man. That's why we're talking and voicing out. It doesn't matter. We're voicing out. You gotta believe me, guys. I gauge pro wrestling a much different way, and I'm gauging a bigger audience. And I talk to people who engage in bigger audiences, and I'm telling you right now, there's no passion when Raw goes off the air every single week. There's nobody talking about it, really. Raw goes off the air, and that's pretty much it. We all stop talking. You guys will catch the review the following Tuesday morning, and that's it. We all go on our merry way. Nobody's really showing any emotion on these shows. None of these main events are captivating anybody, even if they're a damn good wrestling match. It's not captivating you at all. Good, bad, or ugly. Captivate our attention, will you? Make us talk. Drive some emotion out of us. None of these Raw main events in 2019 and years previous are doing that. What happened last night in this damn bullshit wedding segment? At least we're talking about it. We are driving emotion towards something. Now that is anger to Vince McMahon and WWE, but we'll take it. It's emotion. We never have that after Raw usually. So I don't care if it's in a negative way or it's because of something bad. I'll take it. We're talking this morning. More and more people got invested into that last night, whether they were happy with it or just angered by it. We're talking about it. That's what I like to see. And I like over-the-top segments like these wedding segments, even the Sexcapade segment with Edge and Lita. We should give them a chance. If that was around today, that would have been panned, I believe, on social media. And I feel we should give that shit more of a chance. We can't just have wrestling match after wrestling match after wrestling match. Stories need to develop, and wedding segments should always be a part of that in some capacity, and things as such. Barroom brawls, parking lot brawls, limousines getting ran over by monster trucks. That's the absurdity that we love about pro wrestling. I remember Stone Cold and Booker T fighting in a supermarket. I remember Ronda Rousey, Charlotte, and Becky Lynch all getting arrested and put into separate police cars. And then all of a sudden, they were able to escape. Ronda got into the driver's seat of the police car, handcuffed, and started driving it. It ran into Charlotte Flair's police car. Somehow Charlotte Flair got out. She starts kicking in the windows. It's absurd. That would never happen in real life. But we fucking love that type of shit. I love the over-the-top zaniness that is pro wrestling. It's why I fell in love with it. It has to be done better. No question about it. But that's not my biggest issue last night. I wanted to clear that up for anybody that thought I was just gonna shit on the segment. No, to be honest, I thought Lana played her character flawlessly. As much as we can't stand that character, as much as it's just an extension, and a poor one at that, of Vicky Guerrero, she at least has fucking owned it. And she knew exactly when to cut the crowd out and really not fucking fumble or stumble this week. As far as these two fucking wedding... What is it, the ex-husband and the ex-wife? They played their part, man. Put in some pieces of the puzzle. Add to the story. I'm down with that. The dude, by the way, the first husband of Lana, that was played by E.J. Risk. He comes from Kurt Hawkins' school. And Carissa Rivera played the wife, the first wife of Bobby Lashley. She, of course, was down in NXT for some matches. And she actually tagged up with Chris Statlander. They took on the Iconics in a SmackDown match. I don't know if that actually aired, but they were called the Brooklyn Bells. I remember that. But that was Carissa Rivera. That's the first wife of Bobby Lashley. So there was all these moving parts. You got fucking Rusev busting out of a fucking cake. So yeah, you had all of the absurdity, but that's what you expect in a WWE wedding. And listen, we weren't really on board with the Bobby Lashley-Lana wedding anyway, so if you were expecting something glorious, you were tuning into the wrong show. What I'm pissed about is Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan had all these vignettes, had all of this. Liv Morgan, 1/3 of the Riot Squad, which were just jobbers. And you guys know, I love Ruby Riot, or maybe that's a little strong. I like Ruby Riot a lot. I think there's a lot of potential in her, and when she comes back from injury, I still think such. And Liv Morgan was growing on me. But let's be honest, the Riot Squad was just a group of jobbers. That's how Vince used them. But here's Liv Morgan about to return, and there's this aura around her. There's all of this energy. People are talking. Liv Morgan has become a big deal while she was away. And we started thinking, wow, man, with the black lipstick and those vignettes and the darker side of Liv Morgan and her telling everyone that she's coming back changed and there's going to be a rehauling character, we all started to think some crazy shit, even being the Fiend's. Not just sidekick, but other half. And she didn't have to be tied down by the Fiend either, right? If you're thinking Bray Wyatt wouldn't be good with somebody right now, let him be on his own, that's cool. But you could have them together as a little bit of a unit, still use them separately the majority of the time. But she is still part of that new Fiend family. You could have had Liv Morgan debut in that type of way. There's a million ways creatively I could have brought back Liv Morgan as a total rehauling character, which is what WWE was promoting her for. And instead, all we got was another member of Vince McMahon's Blonde Battalion. Here comes Liv Morgan, blonde hair and all. Now, I'll admit, I had to do a triple take at first. I was like, is that Liv? No, that's not. That's Liv Morgan. Because I haven't seen her in a while. But it's not that much of a drastic change. Maybe she doesn't have the dyed tongue anymore. Maybe she's not skipping down to the ring in AJ Lee fashion. But where's the rehauling character? Instead of all the million-plus awesome ideas you could have had for Morgan, Vince McMahon chooses to bring her back as Liv the Lesbian. Or what are you going to call her? What do you want to say? BC, she's bisexual, BC. Whatever. She came down as a lesbian. She's talking about how she's in love with Lana and she can't get over the time that they spent together. That is how they chose to bring back Liv Morgan when there was all of this kind of suspense and intrigue. Somehow, I don't even know how. We all like Liv, but she was booked as a jobber with the Riot Squad when she was with them. She goes away and all of a sudden there's a mystique around Liv Morgan. Everybody's wondering what cool way she could come back as. And what does Vince do? A lesbian! Lesbian angle. This is obviously Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose's pitch that they sent to Vince McMahon, and he was kind of fiddling around with that idea, and he ended up going with Lana and Liv Morgan for this. I believe Sonya Deville was not too happy about this from what I am hearing, by the way. She was subtweeting WWE around that time, so I don't think she's thrilled with it. I don't think Mandy Rose is either. I think she was subtweeting as well to them because that was their original idea. But Liv Morgan, you gotta figure she's out for all this time. She's hearing the rumblings from the audience, the crowd, her fan base, right? Everybody is talking about her, how's she gonna come back? And you gotta feel for her when they sat her at the boardroom table, or maybe they just gave her a fucking phone call. Hey, Liv, you're gonna come back as a lesbian. You ready? All right, man. See you next Monday. wait, Vince, I'm what? Yeah, you're gonna be in a little love triangle with Lana. And right there, man, I was like, no, unless this segment has a dynamite ending with Liv Morgan, something crazy happens. No, do not waste Liv Morgan on this. I was fine with making this review and just talking about, yes, it was the segment was not fucking good for a million reasons, but I was fine with just ending the decade with just a bad wedding segment. Not that we never need to see it again. Not that it was the worst segment I've ever seen in pro wrestling, because clearly you have not been watching for decades. I've seen some bad shit worse than that, I assure you. But I was fine with just talking about the bad wedding segment. You had to throw in Liv Morgan for no fucking reason. You had to throw her in, and when this is all said and done, where does this leave Liv in a month, 2 months, 3 months from now? And I'm being generous, probably by next week. She's back in irrelevancy. But now what? She's Rusev's sidekick? Are we gonna get a tag team match? Rusev and Liv versus Lana and Bobby Lashley at Royal Rumble. Well, wow! Hold me back! Take off my bells! I'm rocking out to the 10th degree. Who can hold their excitement? to see Bobby Lashley and Lana versus Liv Morgan and Rusev. That's what you brought Liv Morgan back for? A feud with Lana? To rub shoulders with Rusev? Everybody's talking about this horrible segment last night. Nobody wants to talk about the focal point, which is Liv Morgan. She returned as a lesbian last night. And normally I'd be like, fuck yeah! Lesbian angle! That's awesome! Who's it gonna be? Most of that fucking female roster is hot as shit. As an alpha dude, I'm down with it. But what sucks is that it's Liv Morgan. She should have and could have had so much more to come back to. She had the potential, the mystique, the aura, and the suspense and intrigue were there for Liv Morgan's comeback and return. It was all sitting in WWE's lap, and they chose to go that fucking route. That's what they chose for Liv Morgan. A Lana lesbian line. Storyline. That's my issue here. Forget the fact that Rusev's jumping out of a fucking cake like he's happier than a pig in shit that his fucking ex-wife is getting remarried, right? You think there'd be a little bit... This guy's just on a playground. He's like he's at the fucking McDonald's Playhouse. He just pops out. He's got a big set. He's like, hey! Wow! I went in at McDonald's. I came out at Monday Night Raw. This is crazy. What's up, Lana? You see his face when he pops out of the cake? Happier than a pig in shit. He just wants to keep playing in the cake, but then he realizes, shit, I think I have to get out and do things with Bob Lashley. He's jumping out of cage. You got fucking ex-wives and ex-husbands coming down. I understand why people fucking just couldn't stand it. I get it. Trust me. I'm even admitting it was bad. But that's the type of shit that I've come accustomed to WWE. But more importantly, if done correctly, keywords, if done correctly, that's the type of shit that's really fun and can be cool. But nobody was down with this storyline from the fucking jump, obviously, so no, this was never gonna go off right. But please, don't fuck up to the point where you're bringing somebody back like Liv Morgan in a lesbian story. I don't even care if it was a lesbian line or not, storyline. Don't bring back Liv Morgan in that segment. Don't. That's the one thing I ask of you. Don't waste Liv Morgan, please. Have the shittiest segment we've ever seen in the history of WWE if you want to. That's fine, but don't bring back Liv Morgan, please. They brought her back. They brought her back to feud with Lana. I can't make this shit up. That is real. And that is my biggest gripe. Cannot believe that enough suits and ties gathered around a boardroom meeting and came up with that fucking deal. And Vince McMahon was there, by the way. There's reports that he missed it with Triple H and Kevin Dunn. Yes, they were not there all day at the arena. We are hearing now that Vince McMahon arrived right before the show began. There is still no word on if Triple H and Kevin Dunn showed up, but Vince McMahon was able to make it back from what we're hearing. So he was there. You can place all the blame on Paul Heyman you want, but whatever Paul Heyman wrote, I promise you, when Vince McMahon got to that arena, boom, boom, it got X'd out. So you can shit on Paul Heyman all you want, but this has Vincent Kennedy McMahon written all the fuck over it. I don't care if he was in fucking Egypt. On that telephone, he's telling Paul Heyman what he wants anyway. That's why you're seeing matches like Charlotte Flair and Natty last night. Trust me, this has Vince McMahon written all over it. Of course, Paul Heyman probably sprinkled shit in there. That's probably why you got the kick-ass Buddy Murphy and Aleister Black match and the opening segment to Raw and such. I mean, if you watch it vividly enough, you can tell what's Paul Heyman and what's Vincent Kennedy McMahon. That had Vincent McMahon's fucking blueprint all over it. And it's just, it's unjustified, man. It's downright criminal. That they can take talents that have a buzz around them and completely ruin them right at their re-entry. You gotta feel for Liv fucking Morgan, man. That's what they had for her. I'm just gonna run in circles now, guys. So I'm gonna let you fucking go. As I said, later on this afternoon, I'll have the actual Raw review video for you guys. I apologize that I don't have it now, but I just wanted to get this out to you guys. Get a fucking coffee, refocus, and then I can give you guys the full review. But I had to talk about this Liv Morgan thing because it's something I had to get off my chest because it just irritates the shit out of me. Every fucking time something cool is sitting in their lap, something awesome, for not just us, but for the individual, for the superstar, every single time, Vince ruins it. He even tried to ruin Bray Wyatt. Luckily, Wyatt is smart enough to correct Vince's mistakes. And that's what happened, I assure you. A lot of what you're seeing with Bray Wyatt is from his own dome piece, and he's going to Vince, and he's saying, Vince, no. I'm telling you, when it's all said and done, 15, 20 years from now, and Bray Wyatt is having a tell-all interview, I'm telling you, man, he's going to talk about some awesome meetings with Vince and ex-naying a lot of Vince's decisions, something that a lot of people don't usually do. Much love to Liv Morgan. I'd love to say it was great to see her back. I just can't say that. I'll continue to support her. I just don't know where we go from here, man. I don't know how invested we're going to get into a Lana Liv Morgan storyline. I will say this. If you watch Liv Morgan afterwards, and there's post video too over on WWE.com, Liv Morgan's smiling after she put Lana into the cake and after she threw her out of the ring. Liv Morgan has a smile, and so it's almost like you gotta wonder, is this truthful, right? Did she really have a relationship with Lana? You know, or is this Liv just one by one going to kind of take out the roster, whether it be by any means necessary? And she came back to ruin Lana's wedding, you know, and she made up just a bullface lie. It could be, because she was smiling. If she was so scorned, why would she... I don't know, you just kind of have to question, why such a big smile? You would think she'd be still in distress, like, I didn't want to beat you up. You left me no choice. I still love you. I mean, she started it off with, I still love you, and then she's smiling that she kicked the shit out of her. Just saying. This could lead to where there was nothing between Lana and Liv, but she was still brought back. After this hiatus with so much buzz around her and surrounding her, she was brought back in a lesbian storyline nonetheless, and that is not how you bring back Liv Morgan. That's just a fact, guys. Everyone has their opinion, I understand, but that's just, I'm telling you, if you wait a few weeks, I'm saying a few weeks up front, you're going to start to see that Liv Morgan is placed right back in obscurity. You know, you had to bring her back in a much more powerful way because people were waiting for it. People were actually anticipating something cool for Liv. That's the difference. If it was just somebody we weren't anticipating, there was no suspense built around it, then I wouldn't give a fuck maybe. But because there was? Anyway. Shut up about it now, guys. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep running in circles with my frustration. I don't want to put you guys through that. Later on today, the rest of the Raw review, I assure you. The Amplified Man. Till then, check you later.